Greetings again, adventurers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy. In the last episode, we managed to finish unlocking all of the doors and chambers that were previously barred by means of the Mystic Key that we currently have. But even though the key now has served its purpose, we shall hold on to it as a memento and as a trophy. Also in the last episode, we decided to visit Nerek, who was still busy digging away at his canal, and we gave him the TNT that he needed to actually complete his work. So without further ado, let us sail down here and see what we can see in the LDC. And notice here that this particular passage is now available to us. Although the question remains, where was the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. But the canal is now open to us, which means we can go out here. We wouldn't be able to do this if Nerek didn't have his TNT. So now we can actually sail around the rest of the continent, believe it or not. And as soon as I bring up the map screen yet again, we're out there, and we can pretty much sail around the bottom of the globe right about now. We pretty much have carte blanche as to where we can sail to, as opposed to where we can port, because there are only a limited series of ports available on this continent, and there are none on the northern continents above this one. But we want to go this way as quickly as possible, because over here is a town that we really need to visit at some point, so we will do that right now. Welcome to the town of Melmond, ladies and gentlemen, and the town seems to be in a very sad, sorry state. And there are tombs here, of course being the cemetery, and I'm just checking to see if there are any more, well, there are people around here, but those are all just tombs. There might be the occasional tomb that might actually have something written or inscribed upon it, but there probably isn't. These are all just tombstones. But as you can see here, parts of the land have actually become almost like a sandy desert. Warriors, revive the power of the orbs. That we shall, good sir, in due time. But, well, there are a couple of stores, white and black magic stores, handy for us as mages. And this man is a farmer, and that's all he has to say on that subject. If the orb of earth begins to shine again, the earth shall revive. I wonder if that's true. Perhaps it is. In which case, we know which orb that we're going to be awakening first. Sada does not fear the evils of the cave. Sada is somebody who we will probably be visiting at a later point, but not right now. Pass through the Titan's tunnel, then south to find Sada the sage. Unfortunately, we need to give the Titan a certain object before he can allow us passage. They say that... Let me read that again. They say the ancient people used a stone to make their ship float. Remember one of the dwarves mentioned that he could make things float if he had a relic known as the floater? We're going to be finding that, but not right now. I am Jim. My home is the Dwarf village, but I am here investigating. The Dwarf village and the Dwarf cave. In the northern world there was once a prosperous civilization, but now it is ruins. Or in ruins, I should say. That's rather unfortunate. There's a weapon store. This town was invaded by the vampire. The clinic was destroyed and the town was cursed. That's not good. If our party members are slain here in Melmond or on this continent, there is no way for us to actually revive them. We have to sail all the way back to either Provoker, Elfheim, or Cornelia in order to revive our party members. And also a vampire. Well, if fighting a dark elf wasn't bad enough, we have to fight a vampire. Yeah, the enemies that we will be facing throughout this quest will be a lot more formidable than Garland was. And we shall venture in here and see what we can find. Have an iron saber, or an iron staff, a saber, a longsword, and a falchion. None of which are actually particularly useful. In fact, I think I might actually end up selling some of my equipment. We have the dragon sword, which means we can actually get rid of the were sword, because it actually doesn't do anything. I think it was supposed to have an effect against were creatures, but it doesn't have one, not due to the fact that it's bugged, but due to the fact that it wasn't given an effect at all. And one thing that I should actually mention, adventurers, is the fact that take into account the price of gil for each item. Not only can you purchase them at said prices, but in this instance you can actually sell them for the buying price, which doesn't really happen in most games, let alone Final Fantasy RPG games, because normally you buy an item at a certain price and you end up selling it at a certain price. But that doesn't seem to be the case here, but we want to get rid of the were sword. There we go. Don't want to sell the dragon sword. Definitely do not want to sell the dragon sword. I'll sell the saber, because the rune sword is actually probably the best weapon I'm going to get thus far. Don't want to sell Adin silver hammer. And the power staff might deal a little bit more damage than the silver dagger, but I'm going to keep the silver dagger. And rather interestingly, the gil cost of the power staff is in fact 1200 or 1200. No, let me read that again. 12,345. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gil. We are going to sell that because we do not need it. And that is a lot of gil we have at our disposal. We can't buy back, not that I would want to in this instance, and there are more people to talk to. There are lots more people to talk to. I've probably talked with a few of them beforehand, but in fact I definitely have. I've already spoken with most of you, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I have. Yeah, there were a lot of people here, so I just got confused there for a moment. But you can go into these magic stores, and we have some very high tier magic indeed. Level 5, Cure 3, Life, Harm 3, and Hell 2. Those are going to be some very interesting spells. And also Life is going to be the only way we will be able to revive fallen party members outside of outside of using the clinic. Because remember, there are no Phoenix Downs whatsoever. But that magic is fairly expensive, to be sure. And unfortunately, we're not quite at a level to be able to utilize level 5 magic in this instance. But we also have the Black Magic Store, Fire 3, Bane, warp, and slow too. Slow, actually, according to what I've read, is actually supposed to be pretty decent at sort of dealing with your enemies. Warp is fairly reasonable spell to have. It teleports you to the previous floor of a dungeon. It doesn't take you out completely, but I suppose that's a small price to pay. But we will be getting Fire 3 soon, but not right now. I will get those as soon as I can actually put them to good use. At least the vampire didn't destroy the inn, which is fortunate enough. The Titan who lives in the tunnel eats gems. He loves rubies. We're going to have to find a ruby in order to get past the Titan in the Titan Cave. Everybody knows me. What? You've never heard of Dr. Un? No, I have not, good sir, and I doubt I ever shall. Some more people to talk to here. The vampire of the Earth Cave is stealing the power of the Earth. We need your help. Yeah, compared to the Marsh Cave, the Earth Cave is probably the first real dungeon that we are truly going to explore. The Earth Cave is on a peninsula southwest of the town. We will be visiting there at some point. We will have to in order to revive the Earth orb by facing down the dangers within. Wow. We've got iron, copper, gauntlets or braces or something, or leg armor, I don't know. But iron helmet, steel armor, which is ridiculously expensive, 45,000. We can purchase a, well, we could purchase another silver bracelet, but we're not going to in this instance. And I do believe that's everything, but I would be remiss in, I know there is you. Oh no, we've already spoken to you, Dr. Un. Now, if you would kindly move aside, we might be able to get through here. Try and nudge him out of the way there. And these tombs don't say anything whatsoever. And there's a well. Let's examine it. It is just an ordinary well, just like last time. And that house has definitely seen better days. Yeah, the vampire certainly did a number on this place. But at least we can rest here for the time being. 100 gil. So be it. And we are now well rested from our long and arduous journey. And I think we have pretty much spoken to everyone here in the town. Yes, indeed, we've pretty much explored the entirety of Melmond. So, yeah, that was Melmond. No need to see these tombs any further. One of the many towns that we must protect in the realm. And we shall do that in due time. But for now, I will leave you here, and I will make a few preparations back in the other areas, because I have a sneaking suspicion that I am actually going to have to prepare myself considerably in the trials to come. And also, I have noted that there is no item shop in addition to there being no clinic. That vampire definitely did not want wandering adventurers using the town's resources. Although, of course, if the vampire truly wanted to keep us from relying on the townsfolk, they probably would have destroyed the entire town, so to speak. But luckily for us, they were only seeking to set an example, and that might actually prove to be their downfall. So, when we return, adventurers, we shall make our preparations and get ready for the entrance into the dungeon known rather ominously as the Earth Cave. As always, until next we meet.